Hey, it's Vicky from Power to the Pleasers. When does it get easier to set boundaries? As people pleasers, we understand intellectually what boundaries are. I mean, we've heard the word a million times. Something we want to do desperately, something we think it's so easy for other people to do, and definitely something that we've fumbled and mumbled through practicing setting them before. And in the back of our minds, we know that we're not going to keep them or defend them if somebody pushes even just gently back on them. I just want to acknowledge that it is draining as a people pleaser to even do more than contemplate boundaries, to even move out towards expressing what we think or what we feel. We have to do so much contemplation beforehand to try to justify, if it's okay for us to say what we want or how we feel. And so we just kind of keep the knowledge up here, and it's like, oh, well, it's just something that might happen to me spontaneously, but no, I'm just going to understand that it's a line that I need to draw in the sand, and I'll never be able to do it. Well, I want to help you move from just thinking about to actually living out being able to set boundaries. And I have an exercise for you, just a little experiment that I want you to collect some data about. So when we understand something intellectually, we don't really own it. It hasn't really moved down into our bodies. And I really feel like that is one of the stumbling blocks as a people pleaser. Is we've read a million self-help books about boundaries, but we don't really know what a boundary feels like or means to us. So therefore, it's hard for us to actually do it. It's hard for us to actually say the things that we want to say. For me, I'm allergic to seafood. It doesn't work for my body. So if somebody says to me, hey, you want a tuna sandwich? I can easily say, no thanks, I don't eat seafood. Because I know in my body that doesn't work for me. I don't want to feel the way I feel after I eat tuna. So I would love for us as pleasers to experiment with what it actually feels like in our body to know when it's a no, or when we're open to like, yeah, I think I can do that. So the experiment is getting out in public and doing a little internal silent boundary barometer checking. Now, I've done this at a grocery store, and no one has to know what we're doing. So at the grocery store, I remember being in the salad dressing aisle and looking at the thousands of options out there and just not being able to decide what I wanted, even though I love Newman's Own. And having somebody come up next to me and want to look at the salad dressing as well. I remember feeling tense inside when that happened. And I started recognizing like, that person must have crossed a boundary. Now, they didn't know it, but I just thought to myself, my body is actually telling me, tense up and move away. And I did. Now, there's something that happens for me, and I don't know if it happens for other pleasers too, where I kind of go through this, I call it the 3-step process. When somebody crosses a boundary, I get angry and my body tenses up. I might not notice my body tensing, but I'll definitely notice my angry thoughts because I'll say something like, what the hell are you doing? Like, back up. Inside, I say that. So I'm recognizing that a line has been crossed, even though they don't know that. The second step is me feeling immediately guilty because I'm a good pleaser and I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. None of this has actually come out into the open, but it's an automatic kind of shaming, guilting myself back into place because I don't want to seem selfish. Selfish is a death threat for a people pleaser. So I will get angry. I will apologize inside and feel guilty. And then I'll do this thing where I will pull back and I'll let the other person have more space. So I'll override that first boundary reaction of anger, and I'll just let the other person have time. Even if I'm on a time limit, no, you go ahead. Oh, yeah, yeah. And I might even make some light conversation like, oh my God, there's so many options to choose from. I'll probably be here for another 10 minutes just to try to ease the situation. I'm trying to ease my internal tension. They have no idea that I'm going through this 3-step process. But I want to focus on that first step, which is the anger and the tensing up. And then the third step, which is the moving away. That's just because I know for me, my personal boundaries are, I like a lot of personal space. You might be a people pleaser that doesn't care about being really close to somebody. But that's how I know a boundary's been crossed. I get tense and I get angry. And then I move away to relax my nervous system because I've gotten kind of jolted that a boundary's been crossed. So I'd love for you to practice the salad dressing experiment wherever you might be. It could, grocery stores are ripe for lots of, seeing someone's cart in the middle of the aisle and you get irritated. They're crossing a boundary. They're taking up space. They're inconveniencing you. So grocery stores are my favorite place to practice, but you choose. And all we're doing is some data collection. Again, what is happening inside of me physically, like sensation-wise, and then emotionally when a boundary is crossed. We're so used to, as pleasers, focusing on other people that we override our bodies. And I would love for us to start turning that around. And so to be able to actually share what our boundaries are, voicing them is going to be down the line. Don't worry about that yet. But in order to really know what our boundaries are and move them just from this intellectual understanding of something we should be able to do to something that we really trust in our body. No, thank you. I don't like tuna fish. We need to see what our body is doing while boundaries are being enforced or relaxed. So I'd love to hear what you come up with. It's a very simple yet effective way of starting to kind of U-turn towards ourselves and see what's going on inside. Okay. So when do setting and enforcing boundaries get easier? When we own them, when we know for sure what our personal boundaries are. Okay, love to hear from you guys and see what you think, what you come up with. All right, signing out from the pleasers section over here and hoping that you get some good data. Okay.